be demonstrating how to do a cast on for double knitting. On my needle here, I already have a row of stitches ready to go for double knitting. If you're familiar with double knitting, you know that you need to have pairs of stitches and they need to alternate between colors. So on my needle here, I have a blue stitch followed by a yellow, blue, yellow, and all the way across. This first pair of stitches here is actually my slip knot made with both of my yarns, so I clip those with a marker so that I know not to work those. So here across, and if you look, you will see that the blue stitches are actually knit stitches. See, blue are a knit, and the yellow stitches are actually purl stitches. So when you're done casting on, when I'd finish the cast on, you then turn the work to begin knitting. So you can see that the last stitch that I cast on was my yellow yarn, my yellow color, and it will be the first stitch that I will knit in row 1. So I want to make sure when I set up my stitches that I end my cast on with the color that I want to begin my knitting with. So let's get started. So to begin, I need to make a slip knot with both yarns. So leaving about a 6-inch tail, just go ahead and make a slip knot. Now, as I said in the introduction, we need to pay attention to the order of the yarns on the needle. Because I want to end with a yellow stitch, so that when I turn my work, it is then the first stitch, that's how I'm going to order my slip knot on there as well. So I'm just going to take a marker and hook those two together to remind me to drop those off at the end of my first row and that they do not count in my cast on stitches. So now to begin casting on, we are going to cast on a blue stitch and then a yellow stitch. And to do that, we will have the blue yarn on the top and the yellow yarn on the bottom. The blue yarn will make a knit stitch, the yellow yarn will make a purl stitch. So I set up my hands by putting my thumb and forefinger between the strands and just kind of spreading them apart. And I kind of tension it with my lower hands. So now to start the first one, I'm going to take my needle and I'm going to go in front of both strands, and I'm going to go under the lower strand, over the upper strand and behind it, under the lower strand, and move towards you. So here I have on there is one blue knit stitch. So to do the next stitch, I will go behind both strands, under the lower strand and over it, under the upper strand and over it. And when I kind of turn that around, you can see now I have a purl stitch in yellow. So let's repeat that. You will go in front of both strands, under the lower strand, over the upper strand and behind it, under the lower strand and move towards you. A blue knit stitch. Next strand, to make the purl, we're going to go behind both strands, under the lower strand and over it, under the upper strand and over it. Let's do that one last time. I'm going to go in front of both strands, under the lower strand, over the upper strand and behind it, and then under the lower strand towards you. And then I will go behind both strands, under the lower strand and over it, under the upper strand and over. So here, not counting my double slip knot, I cast on 2, 4, 6 stitches. If that was all I needed, you can see that this last stitch is just not very secure on here. So I like to just kind of give it a twist and then turn my work. And I'm ready to begin double knitting. Happy knitting!